we're at this funeral scene. So why is it suddenly in D flat major, and how do you interpret this sort of heavenly music?
Yeah, I think there's some elements of like the song sung above the grave, but I think there's something more of like a soul watching. I was listening to actually one of Arthur Rubinstein's recordings backstage right before I went, not recordings, interviews, when I went backstage, and he was talking about like what the soul was, and he was
That's what you were doing right before you went on stage?
Right before I was listening to a Rubinstein interview.
Is this normal for you?
No.
Just to get some inspo?
It's just random, like...
Do kids say inspo?
No, I don't think we do. I don't think we do.
But yeah, that's what I was doing. And I think he said something along the lines of like soul being like some sort of innate human power. And I don't know. I think there's just some element of like soul, whatever that is, like watching from above.
I admired that you played the middle section of the funeral march with a kind of reserve, not hard on sleeve. I mean, how do you read that? I mean, we're at a funeral, I suppose. There's a procession. What's in your mind taking place in the D flat section?
I feel like the D flat section is kind of like a memory of like the person that passed away, and like about like the like whoever's memory of that person, like about like and I think it's like kind of sweet, but it's also like distant because it's in the past, and it's like almost like kind of ghostly as well. Yeah.
Chopin was one of the best at major sad. The Opus 9 No. 2 Nocturne being a great example. Sad. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's so much major sad. In fact, some of his saddest pieces are actually major keys, I feel like, some of the nocturnes, but.
And that's actually true, and it's always like the happiness always has like a tinge of nostalgia or sadness.
He's rarely just blatantly happy.
It's like happy memories of the person who passed, but sad because they're past.
Do your minds ever wander when you're playing?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us.
When you're playing all these, larger structure works like the sonata or like to stay, especially in the funeral march, to just stay in that one mind, that that one mood, and to keep that consistent, and to keep that moving throughout, it is quite tricky.
Is it harder to play a large scale work if you're Gen Z?
Yeah, maybe the attention span. Like we have like the subway surfers like going through our head.
You just got tick-tock playing through your head, and you're like,
maybe,
okay, there's one more of these D flat themes. We're making it through. Do you have an image in mind for the last movement? Obviously, notoriously avant-garde for its time. How exactly do you read that strange movement, that presto?
To me, it sounds, I like to use the word demonic. It's like very like inhuman. It's like something that's uncanny and really, really creepy. And I even think of like bugs or little insects crawling.
So is this wind howling over the gravestones for you, that last movement, or do you not think about it that way?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do go with that, yeah.
Do you try to create that effect with like pedal and touch somehow, or?
Yeah, I use the una corda, and I also like pedal kind of to give it a bit of that.
Una corda whole time?
Yeah, the left pedal the whole time.
Is there any lyricism in that movement at all? Do you try to find lines, or do you want it to sound like alienated from our experience?
I think mostly alienated, although there are places where you can find like little spots to point out. I think it would be good like when sections repeat to do that. Overall, I think the contrast needs to be really stark.
I was going to say your sonata sounds like you speak this piece fluently. I mean, it sounds like your native language. That's not an easy piece to make sound organic. And I don't know how long you've worked on it, but wow, everybody felt it.
Thank you. I have a long kind of back and forth with that piece, kind of a long history. It was one of the first pieces that I fell in love with, and actually that I decided to pursue piano. And that was when I was still doing engineering in undergraduate, I fell in love with this sonata so much that I wanted to devote my life to music, really because of this piece.
So you didn't leave engineering for piano for the money?
No. I mean, we'll see how this competition goes.
Right.
I'm kidding. That's not why I'm here.
Why'd you choose the third sonata?
That's a difficult question. I love the third sonata. And I think it has a lot of richness. Chopin, it was around the end of his life that Chopin wrote this. It's Opus 58, so very mature work. And I just thought that he put everything in it, you know. And I think when there's a great work like this, you just have to. It's not so much that I chose it; it's just that it's there, and you know, I have to play it.
And when you say everything, what kinds of things are you thinking of? I know some things come to my mind, but what constitutes everything for Chopin?
Right.
This might be a long list, but if you could just tell us, what are some of those multifaceted aspects of this piece?
I think, well, he put some of his most intimate moments. For example, the third movement is like a nocturne in a way. And also, he put a lot of his structural ideas in the sonata, like the first movement, for example, the development with the first themes and the second themes, and all the keys it goes through. It's like a real journey. And I think also there's a bit of the fun side of Chopin, like in the second movement, the scherzo, the brilliant style in it, and contrasted with the slightly darker side in the trio, the minuet section. And fourth movement has the real passion and real intensity and virtuosity as well.
I asked William Ge and Nathaniel Zhang if they thought Gen Z was at a disadvantage in playing large-scale works.
Interesting.
And they, you know, I was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but then actually they answered sincerely, perhaps. There is a kind of something in, especially your generation's culture that you have to be exposed to, which makes it maybe difficult to hold together a 25-minute sonata. Do you feel any of that? I mean, it's hard for anybody anyway, even if you're growing up in the 19th century, but what do you do, we'll start with Antoni, to kind of try to make it one event on some level?
Well, perform it a lot. To perform like large works a lot helps more than any amount of practicing. I mean, that really every time I perform the sonata, I at least I feel like I'm starting to slowly understand the what's going on, like as a story from beginning to end. Because it's a difficult piece to understand. I mean, at the time it was composed, I don't think everybody understood, right? People were complaining like, how is this a sonata? How is this? How does the first movement go into the second movement? I mean,
and also, how is it Chopin? Because at the beginning, there's something almost Germanic, chordal, motivic.
Yeah.
Something we might associate more with Beethoven.
Jerky sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gestural.
The development especially. Yeah.
Let's talk about this development, which is one of the most chromatic, creepy, crawly things he wrote, and also Bachian, almost in its motivic unfolding. Not, like you say, not the most accessible Chopin piece right off the bat. I think the first movement might be the hardest to get for a while.
But for some reason, like before I played this piece, I love listening to it. My mom loves listening to it. Like, but for some reason, like when I'm starting to learn it, I'm like, wait, what? Like these things I need to work out.
Like, why this now?
Why? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Angeline, do you have a voice, or do you have any of this kind of conscious, like talk, this chatter that the mind can't control?
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of the work that I've done this year is trying to figure out, you know, why I feel that way and why, like, what are the things that I need to work on so that I feel a lot more secure when I'm up there. And I think that the voice was especially present today in the sonata because it's just such a, there's so many new ideas that just suddenly pop out of nowhere in the first movement. And it's just to be aware of the architecture is really hard when you're up there and trying to control and react to the keyboard. Like having points of reference or like sort of save points in the music where I know I know the music at that specific measure and I feel really secure, or just like switching things up in the practice room so that I no matter if something does go wrong, the voice will kind of be like, it's fine, I can recover from this.
Paul, tell us about this first movement, because we were talking about the fourth. How did you approach that dense chromaticism? Is it something that spoke to you, or that you really had to work to try to balance and find the details in?
In the development?
Yes, and just throughout, but especially the development, yeah.
I try to actually keep it simple, because I think in a way that the harmonies and the way it unfolds kind of speaks for itself in a way. So I try to keep the tempo consistent, and it's quite Beethovenian actually. The kind of the building up, kind of the kind of tension building that we see in the development, and
late Beethoven.
yes. Yeah, because it's so complex harmonically, and with the suspensions and everything. And I think that part is the rhythmic part of the piece, compared to, the second theme and all the little themes that follow afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you find both of you, do you find the second movement oddly a kind of break, even though it's an etude, like it's tricky?
Yes.
And,
yes.
emotionally, it's a break. How do you reset and suddenly go, I mean, it's just like it just turns into something completely different, right?
Yes.
Is it a mental thing? Like, okay, I'm a different pianist now, or how do you take a breath? How do you transition there?
I think it's definitely another world. It's not the same kind of sound world. I think it's actually. I used to try to play the trio section, the middle section of the second movement, a little bit more, with more kind of deeper expression and darkness. But I think it's kind of just a break from the sonata, because if you look at the work as a whole, it's like the first one is very intense and dramatic. The second one is like the least emotionally involved, and then third one is more emotionally involved, and the fourth one is like a climax. So I feel like if the second movement has too much intensity, then it kind of loses the richness of the piece.
What do you think, Antoni?
I mean, for the second movement, I'm still thinking about this. I mean, I think in 20 years, maybe I'll sort of understand it. But
Okay, stay with us. We'll be right back in 20 years, and
But-
Antoni will give us his assessment of the second movement.
But I kind of feel like the first movement, it's a statement, and then for me, there's some time that passes, or the time that passes is the second movement. It's like it's a little maybe intermezzo or something. It's not really the problem like of this whole work. You know what I mean? Like,
What about this? What if the first movement takes place in Chopin's present, 1843 or whatever it is, and beginning with the second movement, it's like a flashback. It's his youth again. It's
Maybe.
the brilliant style, and then he visits the Italian opera in the third movement, and it's like the fourth movement's riding back, or something
Yes.
valiantly and heroically into the present again. I don't know. I just made that up.
but what I mean is like it's a break from the drama of this piece, of the general drama of the first, third, and fourth
it's light.
movements. It's not part of that. If you know what I mean. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just a thought. Just for
right, which
help me
could
sort
mean
of-
it is some kind of dream or flashback or just.
And then it comes back so suddenly into the third movement. I mean, in harmonically, the E flat becomes the D sharp, right? And it just goes.
I feel that the third movement of the sonata, number 3, is quite philosophical rather than romantic. The sostenuto part, I feel like it's kind of it's almost like between life and death, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I thought
You
it was like
know?
this subconscious, like it's not really there, but it's kind of.
It's taking place in
inside the
someone's
brain. It's
mind.
something- yeah,
yeah,
something
it's
like
that.
it's up here. It's not actually
It's not happening.
It's not a scene in an opera. It's some kind of ideal construct.
Yes, it's the kind of mood of thinking about Kant. That's the kind of mood, like seeking the truth.
Honestly, it's like swimming 800 meters.
Here we go. There we go again. Yep.
The scherzo is like a 50-meter sprint with a little break in
That's
the middle.
enough.
And it's so physical, like you really have to be at your best physically, not only mentally or spiritually perhaps, but you really have to be there physically to play it. And it's different. Like if I programmed this piece to be last like I did today, then I can really give it my all in the Presto.
What's the last movement?
Huh?
What's the last movement? Scott?
Last movement. I would say the last movement is like a 200 IM.
Oh, so it is swimming as well. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But it's 4 different strokes.
Oh, okay. fourth movement. How do you read it? Because I've heard different interpretations over the years. Sometimes you hear a very pulsating kind of yum, and we really hear the triple meter in two, and so it could be like a horse kind of riding. But other times you hear D, it's more vocal. What's your conception of that? You can also, it comes back a few times. You could do it in different ways. How do you hear that main theme?
That's a good question. I try to do both, but I think the pulsation takes care of the horse riding aspect, because it's definitely like riding a horse, and the melody is kind of trying to go. It's like dee da da dee 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 da. I think that's the interest.
Yeah.
And da 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 da, and so I think it's definitely, it has to be melodic, but so the rhythm kind of takes care of the horse riding, and then it has to sing to the, because it's like struggling to go somewhere.
In the fourth movement of the sonata, are you a knight riding shining armor there, or?
I feel like a knight with like kind of dilapidated armor whose like horse is kind of running out of control.
All of these filigree is happening. It seems like that's the focus, but your left hand was so calm. It was just so subtle and controlled. Are you practicing left hand alone? Are you making music with your left hand? Is your mind sort of with your left hand while your right hand is doing crazy stuff? Is that part of your conscious experience while you're playing?
I think I don't think consciously about it, but I do definitely in the last movement, just because there's like so many notes. You just have to practice the left hand independently, and I think when you have that, it's a grounding force like the bass, and if you aren't aware of that, then the right hand, that's what makes the horse run away from you.
We ran a poll for both of you because we were curious if you would do these optional octaves at the end of the sonata, which neither of you did. Curious if that was a consideration or not. Don't look like don't worry, you're not in trouble. You played it the way Chopin wrote it and what the piano he had at his disposal, but yeah.
I feel like there's already so many octaves, right before it we already have octaves, and then if you keep going, I just feel like it takes away from, like, I want the real climactic part to be like the chords following it, and if you have this low bass note right before it, then I feel like the last two chords just aren't as effective. It's tiring.
That's a really good explanation for not doing it. Actually, I don't think we've been seeing any or many pianists doing it. What about you? Is it something you've been considered?
Yeah, I think I agree with that it would make the chords in the upper register not as exciting. I did do an octave like 12 bars before that or something, where you start the scale down from the top.